Welcome back, Tim. Welcome back, guys.
Hey, Pete.
We're
Guys.
bringing another episode of Tackle Tips and Tricks to you. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. And Tim and I have just been discussing how two blokes can be fishing side by side on a riverbed or in a creek.
In a creek or wherever.
Yep. And one guy everyone seems to be using the same lures, whatever, but one guy's catching the fish and the other guy's not.
Yeah, generally not me, it's the other person.
So anyway, today we're going to have a discussion about why that might be the case. And Tim's got some pretty interesting ideas on how that might go. So
yeah.
we'll get right into it.
Yeah, so the whole idea of this about the gear ratio and the line retrieve is why sometimes people can be in the same boat using the same lures, look like they're using identical gear, but the other guy keeps catching the fish. And the simple reason why is regardless of how fast you wind, if the barrels are timid or the fish on the day are timid biting and they only want something slowly moving across them, if you're using the high speed reel and the other guy's using a slow speed reel, even though your hand speed on the retrieve is exactly the same, but the lure itself is pulling a lot slower. And this could be the big reason why the fish are biting.
Mate, that's something that I guess not too many people think about, but it can be critical as far as going to catch fish.
Yeah, so I mean, every time I look at a reel, and that's why guys that are in the know, they'll have generally 3 bait casters. They look at all the same, but they'll have a 5-to-1, a 6-to-1, a 7-to-1. The 7-to-1, where it comes in handy, is if you're doing a lot of skip casting where basically you're only retrieving maybe 5-6 feet of line before you turn around and pull that lure straight out of the snake and put it back in again, because they're trying to get a reaction bite within that first 5 feet. They don't care about the speed. They actually want a faster retrieve because they want to be able to get the lure back in quicker to be able to put the cast back in. But if you're in a situation where you're working the flats or long snag areas and logs and stuff like that, where you just want to bring that lure in really slow across the whole lot of it and all the way back to the boat, that's where your 5-to-1 will work better than your 7.4, 5, or even up to 8-to-1s nowadays. So what I'm trying to explain to Peter about why sometimes somebody will catch fish more than the other person, and yet you seem to be using the same gear. And the big thing is, especially for barra fishing, is generally it's the gear ratio of your reel, which is what the difference is. And people don't even realize it, because what it is for every turn on the handle of a reel that's 5-to-1, 6-to-1, or 7-to-1, the retrieve ratio of it, even though you might wind the handle the same speed, the retrieve of the speed of the lure is actually faster. And I'm going to explain and show you how that is. So you can see here, you've got a classic old 400 Calcutta, and the 200 was the exact same size reel, except it was a narrow spill like this one. And that's a T Calcutta, which is a lot heavier duty, but the gear ratio was the same. Then we have a modern day Curado DC, which is 6-to-1 ratio, whereas this one here looks exactly the same, which it is, but it's a 7-to-1 ratio, and I'm going to show you where the difference between the two reels are. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just set up a tape measure with a plug on the end of a Calcutta, which is an old 5-to-1 ratio reel. And all what I'm going to do is just turn the handle once to give you an idea of how much retrieve of line is per turn of a handle.
So we've got a Calcutta, which runs at 5.1, a Curado 6.2-to-1, and a Curado at 7.4-to-1. So we're just going to show you the differences between all 3 reels and just how far they come in when you wind them.
Just one single turn of the handle.
Rightio. So if we line that up, it's 0.5 metre per turn on the 5-to-1.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, half a metre.
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, 55 centimetres in other words.
So now we're going to do the Curado 6.1 and find out how far one turn of the handle is going to do it.
Just once.
Righto, so we've got
67, 68.
Yeah, 67 centimetres.
So that's not a full spool, of course, but that's 67 centimeters. So already we're 12 centimeters faster than the Calcutta.
And last but not least, we're going to do the Corrado 7.1. We're going to do one full turn.
Yeah, so 7.4 it actually is, so it's even faster again. So, but just one turn.
And we've got 72 centimetres we've got there.
Yeah, so 72 centimeters, which is basically another, what did we go, 67, so another 5 centimeters faster again than the actual Corrado DC 6.2.
So if you have a look at the numbers there, that'll show you the difference in the retrieves and how much faster one reel is over the others.
So here's a classic example of reels that we use today and a couple of reels that we basically don't use anymore, but they changed barrow fishing, lure fishing completely back in the early 80s. And the reason why they were super strong, and it was actually the gear ratio that made them what they were today.
So mate, thanks for shedding a bit of light on another aspect of fishing that I guess not everyone thinks about, but it can be critical to your fishing. So appreciate your time, and yeah, look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yeah, well, no worries, mate. So for all you guys there that your wives or girlfriends are complaining about the fact that you're buying so many gear, just turn and say you were told that you need more gear. Okay?
I'm sure that's going to go down well. Yes, yeah. Blame it on you.
Love you all, girls. See ya.
Look, if you're enjoying our channel and you want to subscribe, please do, and we'll have more tackle tips and tricks for you soon.
No worries. See you all.